Welcome to Can We Just Get a Minute, the podcast where we talk honestly about motherhood, life, divorce, dating, and everything in between. I'm Evie.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Amanda.
This week we decided to change things up. We said you're not allowed to bring a cup, anything but a cup. So Amanda's got a slow cooker. Is it a slow cooker or a rice cooker?
It's an instant pot.
Oh, there we go. Instant
It's got
pot.
many multifunctions.
Oh, is it like a pressure cooker?
Yeah. It's got
Oh.
soup, stew, meat, rice, porridge.
Great.
Coffee.
Well, what have you got in there? You've got your iced coffee in there.
Whatever brand this is, you should sponsor us.
What is this? Crystal vase? It's actually
it.
great. And what have you got over here?
But this is what you put, like butter or make a sauce on the thing. But now I'm seeing it. The nurse brain is sort of like, you know, when you go do a urine sample?
Yeah. That is actually what
Oh,
it looks like.
no. So,
It's an antique.
The ice
yeah,
coffee's
it's an
in there.
antique. But now I always assumed that it was for butter sauce. But now I'm like, is this
Actually, maybe it's not.
Well.
Oh, well. Okay, I also bought something today. I want you guys to try it. So I went and saw a friend yesterday and her stepmom gave me these chips to try and Reef liked them. So she gave them to me because no one else liked them. Try it. Tell me what flavour you think it is. Did you just read it?
Tzatziki?
Isn't that weird?
Tzatziki?
You're very close. Isn't that weird? It's cucumber flavoured chips. Is that not the weirdest thing in the world? The yuck.
But I'm confused.
Yeah.
They smell fresh like
But
tzatziki,
and
which
they
is
taste
cucumber.
like cucumber.
They taste
but-
like cucumber,
yeah,
but there's also
so-
something...
That's random. But Reef really liked them, so and no one else liked them, so she gave them to me. But I thought you didn't like them.
No.
Neither.
Pretty
I was
much
like,
it.
these are weird. They're really weird. Really weird. Okay, I think Amy kind of likes them.
Oh, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
What was your moment where you guys just needed a minute this week?
Oh my gosh, mine was this morning, and it's been an ongoing issue with Basil, my main man, my cat. Oh, I can't believe I'm talking about cats. Like I've reached that point.
You're like that single lady
I'm
with a
that single
cat.
lady with a cat, literally. And there's been a boy cat that moved in next door about a month or so ago, and so there's cat pee on this curtain behind us that I had to clean before that. The curtains are in Bali. And I was at Pilates this morning. I had my pile of Pilates clothes all ready to go so I could just, crazy hectic mornings with the kids. And as I was at Pilates on the reformer machine, I could smell Basil on my clothes.
No.
Hey, yuck.
And so you just had to sweat in cat piss.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. And luckily, I was next to my friend who has worked with vets and suggested a spray. So I'm going to buy 1,000 litres of spray. 'Cause I
You
can't.
spray that all around your house.
And it's
What about you, Amanda?
Honestly, at this point, I feel like my minutes are just like 24/7. And I actually don't have like a break in between them,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah, just kids.
My son threw something at me this morning because I wouldn't let him on a switch.
I feel you. There's weeks like that, right?
Yeah, it's just constant.
Yeah.
Constant.
Mine is kid sickness at the moment.
Mm.
My daughter is currently upstairs while we're doing this because she woke up not feeling well and she was not very good this morning. But then she's had an ear infection in the last 3 weeks as well before that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like on and off. And I'm praying that doesn't come back. But yeah, kid sickness. Bring
draining.
on summer.
Oh my
That's
God.
what I have
would
to say.
live in an eternal summer if I could.
Me too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
You'll
I'm
be in Scotland.
sad that
Yeah,
winter's
I said to her,
over.
"Oh my God, can you feel it? It feels like spring." The other day at Kindy, and she was like, "I'm so sad."
It just
Oh my God.
yeah.
Why
My
don't you go for a
son-
weekend down in Queenstown? It's so cold.
Well,
You should.
I'll just live there.
No.
I don't like the sun. Burns my
She really
skin.
is a vampire. This week, we're going to have a shitty chat about basically the fourth trimester and all things that go with the fourth trimester, postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, just grinding in the trenches, because we've all we've all been through it.
Yep.
Yeah. Where do we start?
Well, before we start,
No.
we're going to do some podcasts on some books. So if you guys have any, fun books,
Smutty books.
smart books.
Yeah.
If you guys have any suggestions of what you want us to read and then talk about on the podcast that we're going to do for the book, comment below or I don't know, wherever you go. But yeah, before we get into really heavy, let's pop something fun to
Yeah.
look forward
Cowboys.
We're gonna do like a kind of like a book club review every sort of 5 weeks. We've read some smutty books, so I don't know. We can always start with one of them.
Boy, have we ever.
But we would love some more suggestions on what we can
Yes.
read and then discuss on the podcast.
to. Yes.
So we will have fun topics as well,
Yeah.
but there's also really important stuff that we
Yes.
talk about.
So let's
that we've
get
all been
into the
through.
heavy.
I don't know. I guess, what did you guys think that having a baby was going to be like? You know, that 4th trimester, what did you think it looked like to you before you had kids?
Well, I was a plunket nurse before I had kids. And so I felt like, okay, I've got maternity experience, I've got plunket nurse experience. I kind of know logically and theoretically what that would look like.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that would be a really good head start. It wasn't.
Nope.
And I didn't realize it would be so isolating and all on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also moved, so I didn't have, I actually caught up with old friends. That was my saving grace, is that a lot of old friends that I'd had previously, we all had babies at the same time, and that, honestly, that village saved me.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be completely different than it was. It completely changed my life
Mm-hmm.
in ways that I didn't think it would.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I think also because we tried to have a baby for so long
Yeah.
that I was like, oh no, once the baby's here, everything's going to be great. It's going to
Yeah.
be fine. We've been through 5 years of this and la-di-da-di-da. And then you kind of get there and it's like, shit, this is reality.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hard. Like, I knew it was going to be hard, but then I also felt bad for thinking it was hard because we wanted a baby for so long, you know? Like, so I tried not to. Feel like, you know, but also I was like, actually, no. I think I'd spoken to a couple of other people and they're like, you're valid and still feeling like it's really hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not like I don't want my baby. It's just fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, so hard. Yeah. Anything to add?
Well, like my very first pregnancy, my frontal lobe hadn't developed.
Yeah, you're so young.
It was like not planned, and so I did not think once about what postpartum was going to be. Like, I didn't, it's not really something that you think about. You think, oh, I need to get the bottles and I need to get the clothes and the bath temperature duck.
I think there's a lot of lead up to the baby. And like we've said before, the antenatal classes and all that is like the birth, what you need for the baby, but absolutely nothing about how to handle it afterward.
No. And and so my mind not once thought about postpartum.
Yeah.
Because I didn't actually really know it existed. Like, obviously there's a time where you have the baby, but then you just have the baby.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing else changes.
No, you don't get told about the hormone changes
No.
and like you get told about the sleep changes, but all of that kind of stuff.
You don't know sleep deprivation
Until you go through it.
Until you go through it. You don't know what that's going to be like. You think sleep deprivation is getting up early for a flight once, you know?
Yeah.
You don't realize how relentless it is to be constantly on
Yeah.
and constantly needed.
Yeah. Like your brain is always on. Then you're only, I think I was waking up every 3 hours within 24 hours and it was bloody hard.
Yeah. I don't know if this is too far forward, but now that we've kind of gone through it, what would have been better? Like, now that we see our friends that are going through postpartum, I feel like watching you two have friends. Evie, your friend, has just had her baby, and Amanda, your friend, is pregnant. I see you both stepping up in ways that we probably wouldn't have done if we hadn't had kids.
Yeah. I did protect my postpartum with my 3rd child, because the first child had no idea what was going on. Second child, I suffered so severely with postpartum depression, like about as far as it could go. I was stepping into psychosis. I was in a psychosis. And so when I was pregnant with baby number 3, he was actually a surprise. And I was so scared for having to go through what I had gone through again. Yeah. So instead of buying baby bottles and, I don't know, everything else that you need to buy for the baby, because we had a lot of it. And also babies don't actually need much.
No,
I feel like with my first, it was very important for me to make sure I had everything.
Yeah.
That made me feel comfortable. I don't regret that. But when you have your 3rd, you're like, well, I know what I'm going to need. So, like, and shops don't close. It's no big deal. So instead of buying baby stuff, I bought like expensive but beautiful sheets so that I could, new sheets so that I could keep swapping them over, because I love the feeling of new sheets every day. I bought myself loungewear, pajamas.
That you had everything for you and that you were going to need to make sure you didn't slip back into.
Yeah, so I hired cleaners from the end of my pregnancy onwards every week so that I didn't have to do any of that. I made sure Dylan had 6 weeks off work. I bought myself loungewear, pajamas, new sheets, really just spent the whole pregnancy focusing on what I want and what I would need.
Yeah.
But that took my 3rd time.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know that when it's first happening.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, you see us helping the people who are having new babies, or like trying to support them as much as we can, because I think I was maybe like one of the first people.
Yeah.
Kind of within my friendship group. So no one, even the friend who you just said who's just had a baby, had said to me when she was pregnant, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea that this is what pregnancy was like and this is what having a baby's like. And you don't until you're going through it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think I try and help.
Yeah.
Like try and, as much as I can. Obviously, I've still got my kids and my life and stuff, but making sure that you're checking in on them while they're pregnant or while they're postpartum, and making sure, like, I know she struggled a little bit and I said, I think maybe you should go to the doctor
Yes.
because you don't want this to get worse.
Mm.
And she did, and it's helped.
Mm.
But yeah, when you're, I think I should have gone to the doctor after my second one. I didn't go to the doctor till he was like, I don't know, 1.5. Because I definitely had postpartum anxiety with him. And I probably had it with Harper as well and didn't realize and just kind of kept going because you think, oh, this is just like normal, right? To be anxious as a mother and all of that. But I definitely should have gone way earlier with Reef because now I'm still on meds as well and I'm too scared to go off them. So,
well, you're still mothering, aren't you?
Yeah, it's still stressful
still
and all of that.
Lots of stress.
Yeah, when you're in that anxious kind of depression, I think the meds can help. Obviously, also letting other people know, whereas I also felt like, well, I'm the mum, I should be able to do all of this. I'm not gonna, I don't know, I don't want to, what's the word, tell people, not tell people, but I don't want them to think I'm not capable of my job as a mother.
Yeah, absolutely, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's a huge deterrent.
I kind of just probably kept most of it internal, to be fair, which is not good. And I think, like, at the time, which we'll go into it in another episode at some point, but at the time I didn't have a super supportive husband. Or like, we'd open our business and he was really busy, but we had other issues going on as well, and he was always busy. I was at home with the kids and just in the trenches, and I think it just made it worse, So,
and I think statistically, women who do have postpartum depression, anxiety, psychosis typically do have a partner who is less supportive or less hands-on.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what happened with me with my first son, is that my husband at the time had said, oh, you're all over this, you're a Plunkett nurse. So really stepped back and was genuinely disappointed in me when I was like, I'm not coping. Was sort of like, oh, but, and that felt really shit. Like, this is my profession as well as my dream to be a mum.
Yeah.
How come I'm not coping?
Yeah.
But it was a very, it's lonely. And when you're running on no sleep, you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, you're still the one that's preparing everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
It was relentless. And my anxiety, Will was born at 35 weeks and I'd been on bed rest for 3 months, and he went to neonates. And because I know what I know by being a nurse and by being an infant and maternal nurse, I knew all the things that could go wrong. And my anxiety was terrible. So he was in neonates for the first week. My husband got 2 weeks off and decided to only take 1 because he was bored. So I went back to work. And so it was just really,
That's so crazy.
It was just me at home navigating it. And every night, I'd never done this before, I'd sleep talk, but I would wake up with a huge panic, like, oh my God, I've laid on the baby, I've suffocated the baby, and pull the sheets off, push the husband to the side. And this was all like sleepwalking. And he'd have to like shake me awake and go, he's right there, he's right there. And I had all the monitors on him and everything because I was just like, oh my God. And it was crushing the anxiety. And I didn't realize what it was. I knew about depression, but even then, 10 years ago, postnatal anxiety, it wasn't
really
talked about as much as depression. It was like, you're depressed. I'm sort of like, I didn't feel like I fit in that category exactly.
No.
I didn't want to be depressed because, everyone expects me to have my shit together because it's my profession as being a well-child nurse. And there's that element as well of failing. Failing as a mum, and I'm failing at my job, which was all in my head. So that's those feelings are so intense. You're so sleep deprived. You've got all the hormonal crashes. There's never any long period of rest. Your nervous system I just felt like my nervous system was on fight or flight. For months. And I just felt I was in a very unsupportive, cold relationship. I wasn't having my emotional needs met by anyone. Sort of once every few weeks, I'd meet up with my friends who had had little babies as well, which was really good. But again, it's not that kind of day-to-day support that you need from a spouse or partner or somebody close to you. Both my parents worked full-time, so they'd pop up when they could, and that was really nice to have that. But it is that
it's that
daily stuff, and not having a supportive partner really is the crux of that emotional care and tenderness that you need. And you're like, I've had a day of it. Oh well, I've had a day of it too. You're like, we can't be doing that. But it wasn't until I think he was 8 months old, and it was like a long period of all that. And I remember, like, this is very confronting to hear and it's confronting to say, but I feel like I need to share it. I was just so beside myself. I was so exhausted and unsupported that I'd said to my husband, can you hide the keys to your gun cabinet? Because I feel like I want to shoot my head off. And he was just like, yeah. And then the next morning he said, should we talk about it? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And he's like, okay, never spoke about it again. Came home a few days later and was like, I've got to go up to another town for a couple of months, and then left.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he tell anyone? Like, did he call your parents and say, can you come and...
No.
watch her
No.
because
So we left both of us, and I was sort of like, looking back at the time, I was just like, right now, I'm useless and I'm this. And I just think, actually, that was very dangerous to leave. I remember I went to a doctor who was 25 and just doing a placement at my GP practice. And I was like, I think I might be depressed. And then he's like, oh, well, your husband works away and, just try and get some more sleep. And I was just like, oh.
How do you do that with a baby?
Yeah, cool, Einstein. And then, so I was kind of like, well, I'm fucked, really. And
Yeah.
then it wasn't until I stopped breastfeeding when the baby was 1. And I went out with my friends, my really good friends, and they're like, you've lost your spark, you've lost your mojo. And I just said all that had been going on at home with him and I, all of my feelings, and I like, fuck. And so that helped be my kind of like guiding light to the next. I'm like, actually, I'm not myself. And I started with my yoga and spiritual practices again.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm really surprised I'm still here.
Yeah.
And it's only because I thought, well, I don't want to leave my baby on his own because who's going to look after him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
His dad is buggered off to God knows where. And, my parents work full time. So it's like, actually, that, of course, I loved him so much. And that was never an issue. But it was sort of like, well, who else is going to take my place,
who else is
basically?
gonna do it? Yeah, no one else can do it.
Nobody else is, so
Stepping up.
that reality saved me.
Yeah.
But when it came to having Daisy, it was, again, unsupported and all this kind of said, I wouldn't have another baby if it's going to be the same situation. Oh, no, it was. Emotionally, it was the same.
Yeah.
I was a lot stronger and knew myself more.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was 4 months old, we did the whole COVID thing. We're in America, did the whole 2 weeks isolation, came back, and I went to my doctor. I'm pretty sure I've got postnatal anxiety. I want to go on medication because it was anxiety, like somebody breathing. Oh, they got to fall down the stairs. And with 2 kids, it was just like the panic that I felt every day, sweating, and just, it was taking over my life. And that was great. I had a much better experience postnatally, knowing that, my anxiety was supported that way. Actually, and a little bit after, when Daisy was born, it was during 2020 lockdown. Mm-hmm. And so my husband at the time had to stay at home.
Yes.
And the work that he was doing was split in half or less. And he actually had no choice but to step up and actually did. And I remember saying at the last podcast that was the best time that we had together because it felt very much like a teamwork, what I imagine it's normally like all the time.
Yeah.
And then it just wasn't the same. But that was a nice experience. We had a lot of friends dropping food off at our door. Mm-hmm. So I got more of that experience second time round. And I hired the cleaner and kind of pushed for that. And I was sort of started to get that strength. And like you said, Amanda, third time round, oh my God.
Yeah. You know exactly what you mean. But it does take 3. It does.
And it should.
Yeah,
it
shouldn't. It
shouldn't.
Yeah.
I have a very different but still similar experience because obviously I have an incredibly supportive husband. And while we were very young when we had Ava, we've always just had each other.
Yeah.
And he's always helped in every single way with his home. I think he does more than me around the house. And with the children, when he is home, he does more than 50%. Obviously, when he's not at home, I do it, but he's not at home, so it's different. But when Ava was born, I mean, it was hard. First time,
and being
first
so
time
young.
mum is really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
We neither of us have parents that helped, so it really was just me and him. And first time mum is so hard because you have no idea what you're doing and you're trying to figure it out. There's judgment being thrown at you from left, right, centre. You're breastfeeding too long. You're not breastfeeding long enough. You're not, oh, how dare you bottle feed? Why don't you just bottle feed? It's like, it's like getting smacked in the face a million times and you're just trying to figure it out. And us being so young as well, like it really took, I don't know how, but we figured it out. And I was okay mentally, like I did feel the isolation. When you're at home with the baby full time. Yeah. And I also was so young that I don't think anyone I knew, it's 6 years on and people that I know are starting to have babies now.
Yeah.
I didn't know
no one
anyone
who had a baby.
No, and no one who was near having a baby.
Yeah.
And then I went and had 2 under 2.
Woo! This is why I have a Marina.
And it was actually during my pregnancy, now that I look back on it, that I know that I was starting to suffer from prenatal anxiety. Not depression yet, but it was towards the end of my pregnancy dipping into that. But I was having panic attacks for being like 3 minutes late, except I wasn't 3 minutes late. I was still 10 minutes early. So really I was 7 minutes early. But my panic attacks were so bad that I couldn't feel my legs because I was 3 minutes late. But in that time, I'm not thinking, I have anxiety. I don't really know what I'm thinking. I'm just figuring it out. And I was so convinced that my life was too good to be true, that something bad was going to happen. And I fully believed that my second baby, who I was pregnant with, was going to die. Like, I did not believe he was going to live. I honestly pretended like I wasn't pregnant. It was like a way to protect myself from it wouldn't have hurt any less, but it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense when you're in the moment. Nothing makes sense like that. But yeah, I didn't buy anything for him until I was about 34 weeks. And even then it was like very minimal because I was just fully believed he was going to die because I believed my life was too good to be true.
Yeah.
I can't have two healthy babies. That's not possible.
Yeah.
And that is quite obviously prenatal anxiety and prenatal depression.
Yeah.
But when you've also never experienced something like that, that's not what you think of. You don't know that at the time.
Yeah, you don't know.
And nobody I knew had experienced it. And then when I gave birth to Kylo, I remember the amount of guilt I felt for Ava, my first.
Yeah,
I was like, she's going to think I'm replacing her. She's going to think I don't love her anymore.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid, but that guilt was so overwhelming.
It is.
I'd cry about it every single day.
Yeah, because they were so close in age as well.
So close in
she
age.
still needed you quite a lot.
Yes, yeah. She was only 15 months old
Yeah.
when he was born. But yeah, it's silly because she doesn't know any different.
No.
But your emotions are
they're so heightened.
It's so intense. But yeah, I was going through that. And then that's when my depression hit as well as the anxiety. So I remember Googling, like, when Kyla would cry, I wouldn't feel any connection. Whereas when Ava would cry when she was a baby, it was like red alert, like, oh my God, when he would cry, I'd be like, that's not my baby. Like, my brain didn't associate that. And I remember Googling, like, is this normal? And it did make me feel better because I read stories of, like, I went through this and now I'm super close with my son.
Yeah.
And it is a depression. It's a depression thing, but also the guilt from not feeling connected to my baby then put me into further depression, which made me feel further guilty. It was just like a horrendous loop.
Mm-hmm.
And it did get to the point where, like, I started to go into psychosis around, I was really convinced that people were going to steal my children. So I'd be driving home from the grocery shop and a car would be behind me and I'd start taking random loops, like, honestly convinced they were following my car and having, like, these scenarios play out in my head of, like, what I would do.
Yeah.
I need to keep driving around and I'd be, like, checking my rearview mirror. At night time, I would sleep a maximum of 4 hours a night. And that's not an exaggeration. At one point over the course of a week, I had 11 hours sleep.
Oh my gosh.
And that's because I would be laying in
Holy
bed.
shit.
Kyla was, he was a baby. He'd wake up in the night, but he was like a horrendous sleeper.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do the night feeds at this point. My husband did most of them because I just couldn't. I would just lay in bed and my brain would go, okay, someone's coming in through the sliding door. What would that sound like? How long would I have to take to run from my room to Ava's room, grab her, run into Kyla's room, block the door? I've forgotten my phone. How do I scream for help? The neighbours aren't going to hear me. What if there's two people, one person's coming through the window? Hours and hours.
Oh my
Every
goodness.
single little, a home induction, they take out the strongest person first. That's Dylan gone. Do I have enough time to run to both my children? If I scream for help, no. It was like, and then I would then start at the next place of entry.
Oh my goodness.
I would be laying in bed and my brain would go, there's somebody underneath Ava's bed. And I'd have to check underneath the bed, in her wardrobes, in the garage. I would check the entire house. Or my brain would go, you've left Kyla's window open. I haven't opened it since summer. It's like middle of winter.
Yeah.
That has not been open for months. I still have to go and check because I'm fully convinced that this window is open. Someone's going to climb in and steal my child.
Yeah.
So I was getting more and more and more into psychosis, and Kyla was only 2 months old by this point.
Yeah.
It was getting worse and worse. And then there were points where I'd stand in front of, and we had this big sliding door, and I needed to go grocery shopping, and I genuinely would have rather pulled out every single one of my eyelashes than taking them to the grocery shop. I had become so reclusive. Dylan had stopped wanting to leave for work, and my husband is a workaholic, but I remember the look he would give when he'd be walking out the front door in the morning to go to work, and he'd look back and he was so unsure and so hesitant about leaving. But he kind of had to, because we had bills to pay.
Yeah.
And he was so heavily involved. The second he got home, he'd rock Kylo to sleep, and like he'd fully take over, and I'd just be like sitting in the wardrobe in the dark.
Yeah.
Like it just, And I think I got medicated about 4 months in.
Okay.
not even the right medication.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It takes so
so
long to get the right amount, the
Well,
right
my
medication.
medication hasn't been used for an antidepressant anti-anxiety for over 20, 30 years.
It's a very,
So then
very
now that I've
old-
got a new doctor who
Mhm.
said, the heck we put on that? Because I said it just made me sleepy. It didn't actually help. I was having panic attacks because Kyla was crying and the house was a mess. So bad that my vision turned sideways. It all went that sepia effect, like that browny grey. And it was like I was on a boat and it was like slow motion. And I was walking down my hallway and that's all I was seeing through my
God.
vision. Because it took me less than 10 minutes to tidy up. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a
Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
But I couldn't regulate myself. I couldn't regulate my son.
Yeah.
I couldn't regulate anything. It was so, so bad. And it took me at least a year to kind of come out of that tunnel.
Yeah.
And I have no memories of Kylo as a baby at all.
Yeah.
My brain's completely blocked it out, which I think is a
Yeah.
mechanism.
Yeah. It's like a self-preservation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like a trauma response too.
the things I do remember are the panic attacks. And the only one thing that I do remember is forcing myself to take photos of him. There was one tiny logical part of my brain that said, if you don't like take photos of him now, you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I didn't want to take photos of him. It was just so crazy because when you have babies, you're like, oh, look at all
Take
these.
photo every
Yeah.
5 seconds.
But I
Yeah.
I was so unconnected with myself.
Yeah.
And then there was the guilt of like, well, what do you have to be depressed about? You have everything you want.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. It's a literal chemical in your brain.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
No. It's
You're
not a
not-
choice.
It's
No.
not a choice. No one would choose to have it.
No one will choose it. No one
I
will choose it.
thankfully did come out of that and kind of did a complete 180 and kind of spent the rest of the years overcompensating with my son, thinking, oh, well, I didn't read to him enough. As you know, like I read to Avery every single night. I didn't read to him every single night. And, you know, like it was like so much guilt from,
Yeah.
but also
He's
just,
not going to remember.
no.
You know?
And he is so, like, he's just the other half of everything now.
Yeah.
So the connection issue was not a long-term issue.
No.
But I just remember like being like, oh my God, I'm never going to connect with my baby. Like, this is
Yeah.
wild. But yeah, it is a chemical.
Yeah. And it's
Can't
crazy
help
that
it.
they don't talk about this before you have a baby. Like they talk
No.
about the baby blues. So I remember getting the baby blues. I remember I was sitting on the toilet and I started crying and Damon was like, came in and was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just love her so much. I can't stop crying.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think this is the baby blues, what mum
Yeah.
told me about. And I was like, I don't know, I just can't stop crying. But yeah, I think I had a little bit of anxiety with Harper, but then I really ramped up with Reef.
Yeah.
But you get told about that and then it's kind of like you'll have that and then you'll be fine and it'll be over. They don't talk about the depression, the psychosis, the anxiety that you can have and all the hormone changes that you're going through, as well as the bloody sleep deprivation that adds to that. It's just crazy.
And the partner's role, I think there's like,
Yeah.
you can, you know, this is when she's birthing, this is where you can sit, which often doesn't bloody work like that anyway. But okay, so you're a partner, you are a partner, you are two people having a baby. It's not all on us to recognize the mental health, because often you can't be that self-reflective when
No.
you're experiencing issues with your mental health.
Yeah.
So as a partner, how can you support your wife, your partner in parenthood?
Yeah.
Because it's a team effort. It's not like, okay, she's got to do it and then I've got to step in when things aren't working. It's actually needs to begin as a team effort.
Yeah.
And knowing that the baby's going to be cluster feeding every night for the next 3 months. So actually he should be on cooking, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
things like that is how more education around how can you be a more supportive partner. And I actually see this is the good side of social media. There's so many reels of men showing up and feeding the other kids and getting the dinner ready, like you were describing Dylan, you know, going, okay, well there's 2 adults in this household and one's got a baby attached to her and one adult hasn't slept. So, you know, it's time to go, yep, this is us in the trenches.
Yeah.
Let's be the best, most supportive partner I can be. It's not about, you know, what I think is fair versus partner think is fair is very different. It's about we need to get through this together as a unit.
Yeah.
Not it's all on you as a
Yeah.
mother. It shouldn't be like that. And I think good partnerships already have a level of that, but then the next stage that is missing in antenatal class is great. There's some really, really helpful things that you can do for your partner to make sure that everyone has a great introduction to parenthood.
Yeah, I agree. It
Yeah.
should definitely be like that.
They
And-
also don't talk about just the different in terms of relationship when you're
Yes.
postpartum.
Yeah.
A super supportive husband, love him to pieces, but my hormones were going he didn't empty the dishwasher, I want a divorce. I didn't, but that's what my body is telling me, like your hormones. And he gave me so much grace, knowing that I obviously I just had a
hormones
baby.
are everywhere. Yeah,
I'm still a teenager.
Yeah,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So grateful for that, but a lot of men don't. They're like, oh, she's just being better. No, her hormones are doing like a million things right now.
Yeah,
even during pregnancy as well. You've always got to give pregnancy, postpartum woman so much grace.
Yeah.
Like, I was such a bitch when I was pregnant. Grade A bitch. But it wasn't personal.
Yeah.
It was
No,
just
it's just
like,
the hormones.
and I just couldn't control it. You know? You just got to give them grace, especially from a husband's point of view.
It's like, what do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need right now? I hear that you're frustrated. How can what do you need me to do?
Yeah.
Instead of the grumpy, I just get the silent treatment.
Yeah.
Silent treatment.
Oh
Nothing
God.
could ever be wrong. I could never have a complaint, you know, and if I did, it was silent treatment.
And
so
that's why so many people do end up divorced.
Yeah,
when
after
their
they have
children are a
children.
couple of years old, because it's
I won't say I've got far more energy, but it's far more enjoyable to actually parent the way I want to parent than being criticised every step of the way for not doing it exactly the right way, or not being allowed to have an off day. I think that was my hardest part, is that I couldn't have an off day because it would be met with grumpiness. Why can't I be more resilient? You know, so I think I think my experience mustn't, well, I know for a fact that it's not. I'm not the only one who's had that experience. And I must say, with my work as a nurse, I have seen the younger generation, probably more the younger Gen Zs, coming through, and the fathers have been far more supportive. I've never seen as many fathers at appointments as I have in the last year or two.
That's so good.
So a lot more of the younger generation, a lot of younger men seeing, okay, it is a partnership. I can't speak for everyone because I'm not young, but I have definitely noticed a shift. And again, I wonder if it's social media and more like, actually, it's very masculine and manly to be able to emotionally support your woman and to show up for her.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually, that's what we should be doing. Not it's a wife's duty. That's really, it's stale and
really
it's
old
old.
school, yeah.
And that's what's getting people divorced.
Yeah.
The newer generation, I feel like, are picking up on need to be supportive.
I think also the newer generation didn't have involved fathers, and so they've kind of got, I don't want to be like that. Like, I don't have a great relationship with my father. I want my children to have great relationships with me. So what I need to be involved. When Ava first did her swimming lessons when she was like 6 months old, Dylan would take her on a Saturday, and they were all dads. Every single guy,
same
in that pool
ours,
were a dad, and they were all of a similar. I mean, I know that we're on the younger side, but all of them were kind of youngish, maybe 30s and under, clearly having their first child. Mum's at home having a coffee, having a break, whatever. Dad's taking them to the pools because they're not infants. And they don't like being treated like they're infants. You know, like, whereas the older generation, they kind of got their food handed to them on a table.
Yeah, well, the older generation, like,
there you go.
The men go to work.
I've worked 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then
with an 1 hour lunch.
Yeah. And then, but I feel like the children have seen that dynamic and gone, actually, I don't want my children to have the same relationship with me as I do with my dad, because it's non-existent. I want them to love me.
And show up. For the vomiting in the middle of the night when they're sick. Not like that's all mum's job. Actually, it builds such connection and trust, and what a bond to know that you've got two parents that are going to be there for you through the hard times, not just congratulate you at the end of a finish line of a sports event, you know? Which is also great to be able to show up for. But
and just being involved and knowing what's going on in their life is it's a big thing.
Yeah, I agree.
What would you do when your children have their children, or if they have children? What would you do during their postpartum or their partner's postpartum that you wished you had received from like a parent or parent-in-law?
As much as they want me to be there, I think respecting personal space. I don't want to be like, I'm just showing up. I'm here for you. You tell me to bugger off or desperately need you right now. I'm available. I've not got any social, you know, like, I'm available, whatever level of support you need. If they're living in a different town, I can get an Airbnb. What weeks do you think? Kind of just make myself available, but lead by what they want, because I think that can be the most stressful thing, is people showing up and, you know, help. What my version of help might be different to what, but I think food, beautifully cooked meals with love is huge. Whether that means like pre-cooking Tupperware containers, whether that means paying for a cleaner if I'm again
I'd do that too.
Paying for a cleaner, giving that support. What can I do? Do you need some extra money? Yeah, I think just having that open dialogue of, I want you to know that I'm available. There's no pressure to take me up on that, and I'm not going to stay with you because
I was just, when she asked me that, I was like, I'm going to move in with them.
With Reef
Reef asked me to be in Reef.
And the wife will be like, let me have the baby.
Agree. I think the same. When we had our kids, my parents lived 2 doors down from us.
Yeah.
And that was probably, honestly, like, I mean, I mentioned Jamie wasn't around a lot. He was working a lot. He was supportive when he was home. Like, he did bath the kids, cook dinners here and there, you know, depending on how late he was working. But it wasn't like, he never did overnight shifts, really, which left me to it. We did know going into it, you know, we'd just opened up our business. His role is focusing on the business, and my role is, I mean, that's old school. Like, he's getting either. But that was what it was. That was what it was. We'd just opened a business a year before we had Harper, and we knew it was going to be fucking tough. But having my parents 2 doors down the road, they'd come up every night while it was bath time and dinner time, and they were there to help me with that. And my sister actually lived, when we had Reef, I think she lived with them for a little while as well. So we had my family 2 doors down, and they were there every single night. Like, they would, even if it was just for half an hour, they would come up, and it was so good, especially when you haven't had that adult interaction, when you're at home with the baby all day and you're kind of craving some adult interaction.
Yeah.
It was just nice to have them, even if they would do the bath, or they would feed the kids, or take one of them. They'd actually, when I had Reef, they would take Harper sometimes for the afternoon. Yeah. Which was amazing. So I think I'd do the same, as much as I want to move in and yeah, I would be close by if I could. Hopefully my children don't leave me.
Yeah.
Don't move to different country, but I'll be following them.
Buy the house next door.
Exactly. Hey guys. No. But I'd like to be close and like do the same. Like, obviously give them their space if they want it, but I'm there if you want me to come over and cook dinner, or do bath time, or take the kid for an hour out for a walk while they have a nap or whatever. Yeah. So I think, and same, you know, offering for a cleaner. It's just even like the little things when you go around, fold that pile of laundry that's over there, you know, like
without even
asking, just go in, wash the dishes, fold the all of that.
I think that's the difference for me too, because a lot of people come and they just want to hold the baby.
Yes.
Just fine.
Yep.
Holding a baby isn't actually giving the mum a break.
No.
How about clean?
Yeah, go and do the dishes.
Do the groceries.
Yeah.
Make sure they have dinner ready. Either make dinner, have it prepared, bring it with you.
Bring dinner for night.
Or finish whatever they're cooking. Yeah, like let them sit and just chill out with their baby while you do the other things, because that's actually way more helpful. But I would also either I'd pay for a cleaner, because obviously, like, having someone come into your home, you're probably not wanting to be your parent-in-law. It's quite invasive.
No, yeah.
So you want someone you don't know. But paying for a cleaner, 10 out of 10. Also lawn mowing. Paying for a lawnmower, because that's something, like, because obviously Dylan, it was just Dylan and I, and he was so involved that our lawns got so neglected, especially with Ava, and we had a big section, and
you don't want to spend your weekends doing that. You want to be spending your weekends with the baby
and helping me out and making me sleep, and you know, so that kind of thing got neglected. It's not things you think about.
No.
Even just picking up their coffee order, dropping off at the door, ordering DoorDash to their account. Like, you don't have to go inside.
No, yeah.
You don't have to just put it there, or order it online and be like, I've got something delivered.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry, my kids are not getting that. I'm there. I'm moving in.
Oh my God. It's got to do with Reef and his wife.
It will be with Reef, I'm sorry.
Ava,
I'm that boy mum.
And should that be the segue into our group chats?
Yes.
Exposing the group
Let's
chats.
expose the group chats.
So we talked about my next wedding.
We are doing this, are we?
No. I'm single at this present moment. And I was like, if I was going to get married again, it would be on a beach. And it would be like probably jumping into the water. I'd not be wearing shoes. It would probably be an elopement. So I wouldn't have to have all the people that I've never seen since my previous wedding.
Yeah.
Crazy now again.
Our next weddings, and Amanda
to the same husbands over here.
To the same husband. Renewed vows.
Renewed vows.
Renew our vows.
Different husband for me. Different weddings for you guys. Yeah. Same husbands. Because with your wedding, you didn't sort of have the big wedding, I wouldn't say white wedding, that you wanted.
I sent them a video of like my dream wedding, and was like, you guys are gonna have to deal with this shit. Like, and it's like all black with like these red candles, and like, oh, it was just beautiful. And there was like a big sign, and it said "till death." And in my head, I was like, but I would put like "till death maybe not later.
Yay!
Maybe after. And they're like, there's like this red cake, and it looks like, it's got like red icing, so it looks like blood, and then
What a wedding.
You're describing Halloween right now.
I'm gonna get a big snake tattoo on my leg, which will look really nice, like with the dress.
Okay.
Dress up.
Okay, right. That's your vibes. Mine would definitely be beach. Mine would be elope. Elope.
I mean, mine could be at the beach, just all black.
This will not be at the beach. I hate the
On a stormy winter's
Yeah,
day,
exactly.
lightning in the background, and we're like, fuck.
But Amy's is at the beach, although we did
Mine's
suggest
like
Vegas.
Yeah, I was like, do it at Vegas with the Elvis,
And then we'll go
Presley
to the
and
beach
Pearson
before or after.
and then we'll go,
I
like,
know,
the
but
reception
it's-
will be at the beach.
I feel like that would be a letdown. I feel like it would be
Yeah.
all for the photos, but then like
Not
the
your
America
vibe.
that I've experienced is very much like there's homeless people on the way.
Yeah.
To
Well,
the chat. Why don't you do Las Vegas?
Because I want
I want a beach wedding in Scotland. God.
We're gonna have
how
to
many,
do-
how
yeah.
mane weddings can we fit into our lifetime?
Exactly.
Is there a real life, like, Adam's family house?
There's got to be.
Probably, because that's where you'll
You
get
know,
There's
like
bloody bound to
castle?
be.
those bridesmaid dresses. We're going to have to discuss that. Oh, but that's pretty much the group chat. Or did anyone else have anything else?
That
What was
new
the other thing?
Wicker movie. Has anybody
That's
seen that?
A video clip from this new movie
It's a
that's coming.
trailer.
And I was like, is she trying to get us to come and watch this? Because what the fuck is this
It's
movie?
so creepy. And I've got a lot of wicker furniture in my house. I don't need another thing to be
Yeah.
anxious about them coming to fucking
So
life.
it's
Well,
like a man that's been made out of wicker, and I
like
just go and have a
wood.
look at it. It's very
It's got
weird.
wood. Isn't it a sexy book as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
full
I was
on.
like, are you wanting us to come and see this with you? Because I might be pass.
All I can think of like is the discomfort, but then if it's
Anyway, you can, if you want to know what that is, you can go and Google it.
Anyway, I keep getting these memes, though, like, that's why I knew about the movie, because I keep getting these weird memes of,
What
like,
side of the internet are you on?
God,
not the
of,
same
like,
side, isn't it?
Not the same
like,
side.
well, like these husbands burning like the wicker furniture before the movie preview, and like women like walking past a wicker furniture store getting all like hot and flustered. I'm like, what are they doing? I don't understand what these are about. And then I looked at the trailer. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like,
Yeah,
this is
I've
what these are
just
for.
never heard of it before.
It's like flex your own husband.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's
an idea.
it. Yeah.
good idea for Amy. We do want to ask everyone though if they can leave us a comment or share around so that we can get our podcast out there.
Yeah. And what kind of things do you guys want to hear
Yeah.
as well? That would be great if you guys could comment,
Go to
Let
our
us know.
Instagram and leave us a comment to
We're
let us
very
know.
friendly people, okay? Interact
Yeah.
with us.
Unless you piss us off and then we're not.
Then we'll hex you.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. But also another reminder, we still have our spring solstice coming up
Sweet
in September. We have limited tickets available now. We've had quite a few people interested.
Yeah,
so
we've got a
great.
month now left. So,
Tickets available.
if you're in Wellington,
yes.
it's in Carpeting
Yeah.
at the beach here. So send us a message or check out our Instagram and send us a message and we will send you the details for that.
Yes, and also there's going to be some discounts and specials within the gift, or like on a card within the gift for Amy's private coaching sessions.
life coaching starting up
Um,
again.
Yeah.
Yes,
Back.
and yeah, some other fun discounts as well as the gift. So you're really getting a bargain,
Yeah.
And you get to hang out with
You
us.
can hang out with us, so it's fun.
which is just amazing.
Yeah. You'll have the best time of your life. Anyway, bye.
See ya.